Good morning, everybody. This morning we are with Jim Gray from local removal firm Mr. Shifter to give us some advice on the moving process regards removals. Good morning, Jim.
Hi, John.
First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and the business that you run.
Well, we run about 9 vehicles, have been operating since 1980. So we have quite a lot of history in the removal industry. We have a storage and warehouse premises over in Borough Road in Middlesbrough on the little industrial estate there. But yeah, we've been operating for quite a long time, and we've got some very, very good clients and a very good reputation. People can go on Google and look at our reviews or on Checkatrade just to see what people think about the way we operate. We try and give the best service we can. It doesn't always happen, but 99.9% of the time it does.
Yeah, and I have to say, obviously, I've used you myself a couple of times. It's always been great. So that is why, as a business, we're obviously happy to refer clients to you and as our removal partners. So all good. And obviously, unexpectedly, when we arranged this, we didn't know that we were going to be back at work or given the go-ahead to be back at work today. So that's changed the face of it slightly. But obviously, going forward, we're back at work. How does that sort of affect you operationally, and what will you be doing about all the new safety policies and so on?
Right. Well, ourselves have been working through the lockdown. We have had moves that have been financially committed. So obviously, for the first 2 weeks, we had a lot of clients that were booked in, and rather than just cancel those removals, we went ahead and did them. Obviously, we still used the gloves, we still used the sanitize, and obviously we were safe distancing the best we could. Most of the time the properties were empty, the clients were away, or it was an empty house that they were moving into. Those procedures have been stepped up a little bit. We are a little bit more aware of the PPE. So going forward, we're already prepared. We've already got 10 litres of sanitize, so we can just distribute that to the vehicles. We've got plenty of the gloves, the very strong ones, because obviously, as you can appreciate, moving furniture, it can get snagged and that. So we're using those, the blue strong ones. I can't remember the name of them now, but they're it's like wearing marigolds, to be fair to you. And then on top of that, we've got face protection, but at the moment we haven't gone to that extreme, but it may be the government say that, or the BAR say that our members should start looking at wearing face protection, just maybe to avoid what might come out of our mouth rather than what comes out the customer's mouth. But yeah, we're sort of we're all ready and prepared for it. Obviously, there is going to be some changes. Customers are going to be very aware of us being in their property. But for the last 7 weeks, we've already experienced it. We've had 2 and 3 vehicles out every day trying to move people, like NHS workers or people that needed to move. We haven't run away from it like a lot of the other companies have.
So one of the questions when we go and see people, I guess, is and the process for house moving can be lengthy from start to finish. When do you think is the right time for customers to get the quotation for moving?
Well, what's been happening is for the last 7 weeks, I've been doing what we call just sending a template email, where a customer would send some pictures of the rooms, or they would make a list, and I've been going off that. But for the last few days now, I've been using the Zoom app, where I can do a virtual tour around the house, basically because a customer sent me a video of an app he put together for an estate agent in Richmond, and we found that quite helpful because it was a proper tour around the house, which allowed me to look at all the furniture and work out how many boxes and bits there was going to be. Because that's the trouble, when you get a list over the phone or a list by email, you don't actually see what sort of clutter they've got, what sort of personal effects they've got, whether they've got a book collection or an LP collection or the garage, the loft and things like that. It all gets missed when it's on the phone. They may say, I've got 5 boxes in the loft, but when you actually have a look in there, there's probably 25 or something like that. So it's made it a lot more accessible to be able to get to people's houses, look round by not actually going into the property. And I think that's the way forward for us.
Yeah, saves time. But I think a lot of the time people leave the organising of removals, don't they, until quite late in the process. So they'll suddenly sort of start ringing you about 2 days before and go, we need to move on Friday. Can you assist? If it's going to leave it quite late, it's probably advisable, isn't it, to get at least the quotation and be discussing the cost of removals and dates well in advance to make sure that everybody doesn't want to move on the same day and you can't help them.
What we find with that is most people are switched on, and when they know they're moving in the process, when they're speaking to the estate agents and the estate agents are saying, looks like it could be 6 to 8 weeks, most people will contact us within 6 weeks, a month, so that they can start making progress. And some people say, well, the solicitors told me not to commit. And I'm saying, well, it may be that you don't want to commit to a move, but what you do need to know is, what's this going to cost you? What size van do you need? Who's going to be doing the move? Where am I going to get the packing materials from? Where am I going to get bubble wrap and wardrobe cartons and everything? What do I need to do this move? And that's why we want people to contact us 8 to 4 weeks beforehand, so that we can oblige them the best we can.
Yeah, and do you drop off all the boxes that they need in advance? Obviously, if they're packing themselves, you probably offer a packing service as well, do you?
We do a packing service ourselves. We've actually got one on today. We did one yesterday up in Sunderland. Basically, yes, we can arrange to drop the packing materials off, but just recently, because of the coronavirus situation for the last 7 weeks, most customers have been coming down to the warehouse and picking them up off the warehouse manager. So, but obviously in the future going forward, we would drop boxes off, well, all the packing materials that they'll need.
What happens then? So an awful lot of what happens at their completion often is that, we don't get a call from the solicitors till maybe late morning, sometimes early afternoon, which if there's a chain can clearly knock things on. So you might start moving people out first thing in the morning, I guess, with your guys. What happens then if that whole process, nobody's got the keys and you're delayed till much later in the day?
So we have a system where for the last probably 10 years, we've always charged what we call waiting time, because basically, if we've arranged a price for a removal, we expect that the legal completion will take place by 1 o'clock. We hope for it to take place by 1 o'clock. I would say 95% of our clients get the keys before 1 o'clock or earlier in the day. But like yesterday, we had a job out of Sunderland that was going up to Stanley, Anfield Plain, and we waited 3 hours. It was nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they got the keys. I had 4 lads there with 2 vans. We could have pulled the plug on it and said, sorry, we can't deliver, it's too late. But rather than drop people in it, my lads will work late and get the job done. So the waiting time that we charge for that is only basic hourly rates reduced for 4 men while they were there, or 2 men, just to cover the cost of the overtime for them working late.
Right. Do I still hold the record for the highest number of boxes?
No, I'm afraid you don't. little old couple we moved out of Glasedale in North Yorkshire Moors had over 300 boxes, John. Yes, right. And we did the packing.
They're
now back in Gisborough, but we have about 8 containers worth of stuff that they can't fit into the bungalow, so we've got it in storage at the moment. Right. So that had a lot of gear.
What do you do with storage? So if somebody's not moving house to house and they're going to put the stuff in storage, do you sort of pack it and then unpack it, or do you put it straight into a container to take back to the?
We will bring the containers to your property straight away. We will load the containers, pack everything, wrap it, and put it into containers, so that when we get back to the warehouse, we just lift in the container off with the forklift and stack in the containers. Otherwise, we would be charging customers to double handle the furniture. Yeah. Once you start double handling furniture, you risk damaging stuff as well. So we would prefer to go straight to the client's house. containers on the wagon, pack it up, and then take the containers off back at the warehouse.
Great, excellent. So we'll put obviously we'll put all your details within the in the post that we'll send out. So if anyone does have any questions for you, or indeed they want to, I guess there's going to be potentially a bit of a pent up level of people who have been waiting to move. That now, you know, now that we've got the go ahead, so you may well find yourself quite busy in the next few weeks. So if anybody does want to get a quote from Jim or wants his contact details, that will be in the post below. Do feel free to contact him direct, or indeed ask us for his details, and we'll pass them on happily. But Jim, thanks ever so much for your time, and stay safe and good luck in the next few weeks with hopefully lots of removals.
Same to you, John. All the best.
Cheers, Jim. Bye.
Bye now.